You have been negotiating Liton since long, and what are the prime changes have you found out in his batting yesterday?
I think he's probably the better one to sort of say what he's done. I think he's just matured. I think he's taken on that responsibility. I think it's his second ODI 100, which is pleasing. Just looks more mature. Looks like he knows where he wants to take his batting, and he looks very hungry. I think the way he's practicing, the way he's thinking about the game is really pleasing, and I hope it bears a lot more hundreds.
Especially what aspect of the technically you work with him?
Well, I think my philosophy in terms of batting is just try and get into the best position possible, so you can have a good defence and play some attacking shots. So I think it's just about good positions, and then staying mentally sort of attuned to, if it is a bad ball, to really jump on it and really be positive with the bad ball, but if it's a good ball to obviously give its respect, but still looking for the ones to rotate strikes. So we've done a lot of work, or the boys have done a lot of work on their games. So it's always nice to see when a guy really gets a good 100 and a big 100 and puts Bangladesh in a winning position.
What about Tamim Mitchell? He is scoring slowly, batting slowly in the power play, and he's failing day after day.
Well, I don't know if day after day. I think he's only just got back. You just have to look at his record to know that he's a class player. So I don't know. I think day after day is a really tough sentence. We know Iqbal. You know how many runs he's got. You know that Tamim's as quality as he is. He spent a little bit of time out the game. He looks like he's come back in a good space. He looks hungry, training smart. I've got no worries about Tamim going forward in terms of performances for Bangladesh.
Is there anything about mentally problem over this?
No, I think obviously there's, in Bangladesh, as you can see, there's a lot of media around, there's a lot of pressure on players to perform, and I think, everybody's under scrutiny the whole time. Sometimes it's about giving guys a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. You look at his record, you know how good he is for Bangladesh, and let him play. I think every time we put more pressure on these players, we know international cricket is a tough place to play. So it's not like he's not trying, it's not like he's not fit. He's fittest he's ever been. You see the work he's putting into his game, so I've got no worries about him. And I just look at when a guy practices and his professionalism that he's bringing through, it's a matter of time. And I think a lot of the young guys are feeding off him in terms of, you can't always get hundreds, but when it's going average for you, or good for you, or bad for you, to try and keep that same personality, try and keep your emotions the same. And I think, the big thing for me when I see cricketers is that we're very high when things are going well, and when we're down, we're very, very down. And we, with Russell and the coaching staff, we just try and keep the emotions quite consistent, whether you perform or not perform.
Talking about scrutiny, there's lots of debate going on about target or
Well, I think the big thing for Tamim is, and when you get all these senior players and players that have played a lot, he knows what he needs to do. I've boiled it down to being very, very specific. So Tamim and I will have a chat, and the coaches, we feel that he just needs 2 more boundaries. Where he's going to get that, what's he going to do, is his approach. I think that's where you leave the playing game. I mean, there's no one that can bat for Tamim. Tamim's got to bat for himself, and I don't see it as batting too slow, batting too quickly. For us, the team, we know how important he is for that platform. He plays good shots to quality bowling. We probably just want, if anything, maybe it's not a huge approach, it's maybe just looking for an extra shot or 2 in the power play. But he's got that covered. We know what he can do. You saw the BPL 2 years ago when he got the match-winning big 100. So we know what he can do, and I've got no doubt that that's around the corner.
Is there any instruction for him, like anchoring role or batting steady?
No, I think we know his game plans. He knows his game plans. We're not school masters here. We don't tell anybody what to learn and what to do. That we give our opinions, we give our thoughts, we give us our technical advice, and then it's up to the player to implement that into his game. We're not talking about a young guy here. We're talking about a senior man. Believe me, if you think he's made a mistake, or you think he knows that before you guys do, or any of us know. He knows how his approach is. So it's coaches. We point out a lot of things that we think we can improve. You know, dot balls, running twos, skilled hitting at the death. There's a lot of things we're working on. Some we like, and some we get right in games. Others we don't. So you know, there's a few facets that we think Bangladesh cricket can be back in. So we emphasize that.
Is there any ideal for the Bangladeshi batsmen to test themselves against the Zimbabwe ball? Do you think they are the real ideal they can take that step?
Is there what? Playing for, whether it's Zimbabwe, whether it's Australia, whether it's wherever it is. So for us, it's a international cricket. These guys are hungry to do well for themselves, for Bangladesh, and that's all. You know, you can only play against the opponents in front of you, and you know, there's no opponents in the world that you've got to take lightly. So you know, I think as soon as you start talking like that in terms of that attitude, we don't want that in Bangladesh cricket. You know, wherever we come up against, whether we're facing you know, the Australians, the South Africans, the Zimbabweans, the Afghanistanis, it doesn't matter. You're playing for Bangladesh, you're representing millions and millions of people. So even that thought enters their head, that's the wrong thinking for Bangladesh.
Just to stay focused on the wicket. Do you think it's the right approach for him? Carving his shots?
What did he get yesterday?
100?
So do you think it's the right approach?
Yes. That's the approach you like?
I think you just got to look at, as I said, we haven't told him to play less shots. We've sort of given him sort of ideas that how we want the team to practice, how we want him to play. He's a naturally gifted player. He plays on instinct. We never ever want to take that away. And it's heartening for me to think that he's gone away and thought, you know what, I've got to match up risk versus reward. And I keep getting out for 20s, 30s, I've got to put that shot away. So you saw yesterday how many times he kept the ball on the ground, and he got 100. So
that's happening.
So it's good for Liton. I'm very happy for Liton.
Thank you.
I think it's a problem throughout the world. It's a problem through international sport, not just Bangladesh cricket. Every sports person in the world fights that. You know, you win a game, you score. Liverpool haven't lost the game for a long time. They lose 3-0 to the bottom log. You know, and I think you've got to understand that it's cricket, and it's easier said than done. Your personality can't match what you've got on the scoreboard. You know, you've got to still be a good person, a good team man, whether you've got 0 or 100, and that's the fight that every international cricketer has. So us as management and us as coaches, we try and keep our emotions quite relaxed, quite sort of centered, because you know, if we are up and down, it shows a bad example to the players, and we're expecting that, you know, to give into the team, not to take away from the team. So, you know, I think as you mature, you probably find a method that works for you, and method that you can deal with the failures, because you know, we're all cricketers, and there's more failures than success. So it's a tough sport, and everyone's got their own coping mechanisms. So yeah, us as the coaches, we just try and keep things nice and consistent.